Welcome to Cat Energy Work. This is an energy report, and I'm going to be talking about having looking at the way you deal with a relationship that's not happening either at all or in the way you want to, from like a different perspective. So this is I'm pretty sure this is based on a conversation I was having. Sometimes I can be discussing something with someone like another light worker, another energy work person, right? Someone else who reads tarot, who works with, the spiritual side of stuff, whatever. So, and I'll be talking about the nature of our experiences, and then I'll get like a eureka moment, and I'll like pull some information out of my butt, and I'll be like, "Oh my god," like, and explain it to the other person, but generally I haven't heard it before either. So that's basically how divination works. I just yoink it out of the Akashic record. So what I'm talking about is, imagine that you want to be in a relationship with a person, and for you, you see them as your sunrise, right? They are the sun coming over the horizon to bring light into your world. And you are focused on that particular point on the horizon. You're like, I'm waiting for my ships to come in. I'm focused on this destination. Right, I'm like a homing pigeon. I've got the GPS, and there aren't any detours. I'm like staying on course. And it can take a long time if you're sort of on this track where it could take like 6 months, 2 years, 15 years to understand that this person isn't what you need in your life. You can be like, I tell the universe I want this person. I know this. I know like 18 things about them. This is what I want. And it never seems to manifest. You either never end up in a physical relationship, you're always online, or you do get in a physical relationship, it's on and off, you're fighting, you're getting back together, you're doing it long distance, so you only see each other once in a while. Um, those kind of things. It's like, oh, well, if they're supposed to be my twin flame, why are they treating me like crap? How come they have four people on the side? Like, when they're in a relationship with me, they won't uh, give me equal give and take, but they go and date someone else, and they're doing all the things I wanted to do. And, like, especially if you get into this idea of twin flame, this is where the danger can come in because you're fixated on that point. And I don't know if I ever got like really obsessed with the twin flame thing. And I've done some twin flame readings, and I think um, there's a purpose, there's a use. Like every kind of perspective has its place, right? So you can listen to get a twin flame reading, and it can help you understand your situation. But it's not to say like, this is what my relationship is, this is what it has to be. It's sort of like labeling it will put it in a box, but it's not what you really need to worry about. You need to worry about the idea of, I have to be fixated on this person no matter what happens or how I get treated. Okay? And then be confused because it's not happening. Right? I was supposed to be with this person 8 years ago, and I'm still single, and they've been with 3 other people since then. And I went on like a date once a year for 4 years or something. Um, so going back to the idea of that person as being the sun rising on your horizon, there's a thing in, I guess it's like geoastrology. Um, what's it called when they do the ancient astrology with the computer? Paleoastrology. Anyway, if you go to any um, megalithic stone monument, you're gonna basically find astrological alignments. So you'll get something like Stonehenge, it'll be marking the summer solstice or the equinoxes, and then it'll have like the sun, like in the northern hemisphere, the sun uh, rise on the winter solstice and the summer solstice, or vice versa, and then the sun is going to move every day on the where it rises until it's on the equinox in the middle, and then it's going to go down like the 24 degrees or whatever it is and then come back up. So um, when you get something like the Sphinx, you have this lion that's pointed east. So this is a monument that would have been built when the stars in the constellation Leo were rising in the same place as the sun, like on the equinox. Um, so if you're saying my person is the sun, your person might actually be one of the stars in Leo. And there's some like stars and planets that will do a heliacal rising. Like usually it comes up like just before the sun. Like sometimes Venus rises right before the sun, sometimes it doesn't, depending on where everything is. And this might not be like a textbook scientific explanation of this whole thing. I'm just, doing like a lay term, like a lay concept kind of idea of it. So, you could have, yeah, let's just go with Venus. So instead of one of the stars in Leo rising with the sun, now we have Venus. Or some other faint thing that we can't see, right? Like, oh, maybe Alpha Centauri is coming up with the sun, but it's so far away we can't see it. Um, there's some new star cluster called RFG 69. I don't know why I said that's so bad. Giggity. Nice. Let's do a different one. NRL 7615. Okay. I'm just making up a number right now. If it's actually some kind of star system, whatever. So we have this newly categorized double star system, let's say, and it's rising on the east with the sun, but we can't see it because the sun is closer to us and it's too bright. So only when the sun like moves throughout the year, right? So like for 6 months out of the year, the sun is totally obscuring the NRL, whatever the hell the number was that I said. And then for the next 6 months, as the sun moves further away from that overlap, we can see it. And this idea that looking at your person, you can confuse them, like you can confuse a person as being like exactly what you want. Or like, I saw them, I recognized them, I'm like, oh my god, that's my person. And you can be stuck on this, like, this is my person, I'm ignoring everything else, I'm telling the universe I have to have them, or like, I'm not even gonna bother. But this sort of metaphorical time frame, right? Your year can be like 6 months, it can be 2 years, it can be 20 years, right? So when the sort of, I want to say overglow, this like bright, all-consuming light shining from the person you clung on to, that you're sort of worshiping, right? You're like, ooh, a sun god. Um, it's like it finally moves enough so that a distant object that's more interesting in some way, like more resonant, more fitting, starts to emerge from sort of from behind it. Where like normally you wouldn't be able to see it, even though it's like rising in the same place, or about the same place, right? Because everything, like the stuff that's further away moves at a different rate than stuff that's close up, so the heliacal rising will change basically over time. So this is the concept, right? So like in theory, like I know that I shouldn't be obsessed with, a person, and yet my my feelings override it every time, and I'm like, it has to be them, it has to be them, I'm going to imagine it, and I'm going to get butthurt when they're not cooperating with the narrative in my head. And this kind of goes along with the energy report 33 that I just did too, but this has more to do with like where you're aiming your little dart. So it there's this like complete mental cracking open of, I'm ready to accept that the person that I thought, that's the sun that I thought was it, is in the same general location, like quantumly, cosmically, as my other person. They're like an archetype, right? This, and it's not to say, oh, it's a false twin, or it's a false this, it's a false that. They represent an archetype, and they could be somebody in your soul group that you remember, someone that you've interacted with in a past life, and they're just sort of like standing in, or what they represent prepares you to accept who this sort of distant star is that got blinded by the light. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. This is kind of it's a really nuanced and sort of complicated situation, and the 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 sort of image that I got to sort of turn it around and clarify it is actually really simple, right? It's like, I can't see this other car coming down the road because some a-hole with LED lights just blinded the ever-loving crap out of me, right? Like, all I can see is headlights, I can't see the deer jumping in front of my car. This is kind of the same thing, except that we have the sun, and then the deer is, the little star system that doesn't even have a name yet, it just has a number. Right? So it's like, I don't know who it is, but I know that they're going to have this kind of resonant pattern that's similar to this sort of sun person, but it's like tempered, or like different in some way, right? It's like in the wheelhouse, like it's in the same wheelhouse, but it's not the same like flavor, right? It's like the sun is gold, but this other thing is like platinum or brass or silver. It's why do I want to say rubidium? Tungsten? Palladium. Okay. So if the sun is gold, then this other person is like palladium. It's, platinum group metals. Hopefully that's enough analogies to make that make sense. All right, so that's it. I've got a tarot sale going on through June 21st, which is right between the full moon and the summer solstice. So, tarot sale, a good chunk off through the 21st of June, and then the details for that are going to be down in the description box, so just pop that open and scroll down until you get there. Alright, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye. Thank you for watching. Stay connected with Cat the Minion Energy Work. Check out my complete suite of goods and services conveniently from my Linktree. linktr.ee/cattheminion. Color your way into some relaxation with my coloring books Energy Forms and Draco Forms on Amazon. Get groovy with fashion and home accessories from my Cafe Press or Redbubble shops. Decorate your environment with original art and divination tools from my Etsy shop.